Okay, so I got another random parts quad here. I haven't done one of these in a while. I get a lot of parts for review, and I decided to just stick them all into one build all at the same time and just show you one video for all these instead of just a bunch of videos one at a time. So start off with the Hobbymate motors first. These are the 1505 motors. I've been testing their 6S 2900 kV, and this is their 4S 4300 kV 1505. Gem fan 3052 prop on this guy. The frame here is like a clone of something I've seen somewhere. I can't remember exactly, but I think they screwed up the clone because I think the front arms are supposed to be straight out, and this is sort of like a dead cat style. And so basically the props end up showing up in the video, so that kind of sucks. And then also the way that they did the top plate here, the top plate shows up in the camera feed. Of course, this is the Split 2S, RunCam Split 2S, which is basically the Split 2, and they've changed the camera to this sort of micro size, 19 by 19 size camera, and the board is actually a 30 by 30 board. So one of the reasons why I put all this together in this frame is that this frame will take 30 by 30 stack. We'll take a 20 by 20 stack as well, but I wanted to put a 30 by 30 stack in here as well as a 30 by 30 Split 2S board. So essentially the Split 2S is just a Split 2 with the smaller camera and the M12 lens, so a little bit lighter. And then the stack here is just the GEP-RC span F4 stack or tower. So this has the I think it's a 35 or 40 amp 4-in-1 ESC F4 flight controller with the video transmitter on board there, all very compact and tight. And I just have this antenna here, which is the Actuna antenna on an MMCX connector, I believe. Yeah, and then this just plugs into the video transmitter part of the combo flight controller board. And this came with a large XT60, so I'm using this is a 550 GMB 4S LiPo. This frame here, I wouldn't recommend it, but it is a kind of a tank. I think this is a 4mm bottom plate and 2mm or 2.5mm top plate, so this is pretty heavy. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this frame. The only reason I'm using is I wanted to get cram all these parts in here in the 30 by 30 stacks. This is totally experimental, and you can see here that I couldn't even fit the receiver. Of course, you can put a smaller receiver probably in there, like an XM Plus. This is that 2-in-1 UAV receiver. It's got Free Sky, Fly Sky receiver. It's currently in Free Sky mode. Just stick it on top there, and the diversity antenna is out the back like this. Someone has suggested from that video they wanted to see this flying, so you get to see this flying. Yeah, nothing special, just a receiver. I'm not really flying that far away. But in the video footage, you'll see the DVR footage from the reception from this antenna, as well as the DVR footage from the Split 2S and the HD footage from the Split 2S. A couple things to note: the lens I think is better on the M12 lens for this, because I think this case and lens is also going to be on the new Split Mini version 2, at least for the updated version. I'm not sure if those are widely available yet, but I think that's an upgrade from the M8 lens. Couple things I noted about this particular camera is that there's a pink hue on the video. You'll notice that as well. I'm not really sure where that's coming from, if maybe they screwed up the IR coating on the lens perhaps, or on the sensor. Not exactly sure what's up with that, but the image quality seems to be a little bit better on the edges of the frame. So I think that has to do with the bigger lens. I know that on a lot of the M8 lens versions of the Split Mini version 2 and version 1, the very edges of the frame are blurry, and it has to do with lining up the sensor board to the lens, and it's very difficult to do on the M8 lens. Might be easier on the M12 lens because it's bigger. I noticed that there's a less distortion and blurriness on the outside edge of the frame on this particular lens, at least on this particular camera. So maybe a lot of the lens issues on the Split Mini will be resolved when they switch to the M12 lens, which is a bigger lens. So maybe that'll make a difference. So anyway, just wanted to point that out. But yeah, this just wanted to show you a bunch of these parts while working together in this build, random parts micro, and yeah, I'll show you some flight footage now. So if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, in this video we're checking out the RunCam Split 2S. So this is updated version of the RunCam Split 2. There's so many iterations of the Split series now. There's a Split Mini V2. That was the original RunCam Split version 1, version 2, and then now this 2S. So the original RunCam Split version 2 had obviously the single board. It had the little Wi-Fi dongle as well. This is, I think this is an option. It comes in a version where you can have it without the Wi-Fi dongle and save a little bit of money. Yeah, I've reviewed in my past review of this. I was pretty much like, you don't really need this. So I would recommend same thing for here. You don't really need this unless you're going to be constantly changing settings via your phone. Now the thing that's the biggest difference here between the 2 and the 2S here is the camera units. I don't think there's a whole lot of change. I think they may have changed the board a little bit on this version. I'm not 100% sure. The biggest change here is the camera. So the camera, the little where the sensor is here, before it was the mini size, so it was 22 millimeters. It had an M12 lens, quite a bit bigger than what you see here. Now they've gotten down to the micro-sized camera case here, so it's 19 millimeters, but they have looks like an M12 lens here. So this is really interesting. Now I know that a lot of you are going to be asking me, well, can you just unplug this here and put it onto the Split Mini V2? I don't know that. I might try that down the road. I want to actually test this out and get some footage and actually fly this around a bit before I do that test, because I don't know what's going to happen if I take this off of here and plug it into a Mini V2, and who knows, the polarity might be reversed and I'll just fry the sensor and then I won't be able to review this. So I already know that you guys are going to be asking me about that, so I'm very curious about that myself. If someone knows and has already done this, let me know, and definitely share that with everyone, because if you could take this unit off of here and then connect to a Split Mini V2, that would be really interesting, because then you'd have M12 lens in the micro-sized case, and I think that, I honestly don't know if this M12 lens has much of a bigger aperture than the M8 lens. It does look like it does. If you look at it versus the regular one on the Split Mini V2, and then I believe the sensor and everything is the same size. So really the difference is going to be the bigger lens. So obviously the next question will be, well, how is the low light performance between this and the Split Mini V2? I will look into that. I'm not sure if I have time for that right now, but yeah, I already know that's a question that's going to be out there. I will definitely look into that, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a little bit better on low light because of the bigger aperture of the lens. So this is interesting in that respect. So that's why I'm kind of wondering if this will hook up to the smaller 20 by 20 board, because this is obviously the bigger 30 by 30 board. And as far as I can tell, everything looks the same. You got the USB port, you got the little port here for your Wi-Fi dongle. Of course, you got your micro SD card slot. You have your connections here for your camera control, TX-RX ground, and then this is for the connection to your flight controller or your video transmitter. This plug here is just your standard 3-pin plug for your camera. Got some LEDs down here on the bottom. I think those are the same as before, and then you got your 2 buttons here for your power and modes. And yeah, it's I think really the biggest difference is going to be this sensor unit with the M12 lens. So yeah, they've just basically shrunk down the case from the 22mm mini size to the 19mm micro size, and the lens is obviously different as well. This is much smaller in the overall in this particular camera case here. Now for the rest of the stuff here, we got your standard wires that come with the Split. That's pretty normal. They do include this little adapter thing here, converts micro size to full size, so that's nice. And then you got this little I guess this is an RF shield plus a little SD card ejection protection thing that will just go on the bottom here. So this will give a little bit of RF shielding for the parts here, the electronics on here, and then you obviously have your little protection for the SD card from getting ejected, so that's nice. And then of course I showed you the little Wi-Fi dongle already. Now they have these little grommets here, and I think it's because these holes are a little bit bigger than usual. So these are M4 holes, and then these will convert these to an M3 hole. So maybe they're doing this for a little bit of vibration dampening, though I'm not sure why you would need that for the board. But yeah, I suppose that's what they decided to do. And then you have some nylon standoffs for mounting to your craft. So obviously 30 by 30 is what you're going to want to put this in. The ribbon cable, so it's not super long. So if you're putting this in a 5-inch, I think it's going to go like this. Depending on where your stack is relative to where you want to put the camera, this might not be long enough. So kind of wondering if they're going to have a longer cable available. They usually do that kind of thing, so I'm pretty sure that that might be available. I'll put something in the description if I find out later, but yeah, if you're worried about that, which I am kind of concerned about, I'm pretty sure that they will have a longer cable that you can use for this if you want to move the camera a little further away from where the board's going to be mounted on top of your stack. Okay, so this is the way that they set up here, and obviously it's going to be a little less than the Split 2, so coming in at about 17.8 grams. I don't remember what it was in the original Split video, but I'm pretty sure it's less. I'll just put the value up here if you guys are curious. Anyway, I'll go ahead and I'll get this mounted in something, and I'll show you a little bit of flight footage from this so you guys can see what the video footage looks like, but I'm fairly certain it's going to be very similar or almost exactly like the Split or the Split Mini V2. So anyway, here's some flight footage for you.